I love the. This is.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Make a run.
Welcome to the 29th episode of the pod. We're back, baby.
Back here, we've got Robbie here, Tom over there, and
Jordan. Can you please turn it down, Robbie? Because it's really loud. But that's fair enough, as this is the first ever live recorded edition of the pod. And by that, I suppose we mean 20% more live, because it's pretty live already. There's no edits to it ever.
We never edit
raw.
anything we're saying, besides when we say something which has to be edited out, and Robbie often breaks that rule to beep things out. But this is the first time we're ever doing the sound effects live.
Proof is in the pudding right there. Completely out of context to put that sound effect there, but it works.
And once again, please don't overdo the sound effects.
No, I'm not. I will not. I'm very conscious of it, but yeah.
It's pretty hard when you've got an 80s Casio keyboard right in front of you, half the size that you've obviously brought in for this point, and you've queued them all up.
Yeah.
For the last hour, he's been sitting there going, see, 1, 2,
This is like a year 8 music class where everyone has their keyboards in front of them and like everyone can hear what everyone else is playing. So there's always someone trying to play like Third Release as quick as they can, and then the teacher's like, "Can you shut up? Like, who is that?" So,
Tom in the classic failed musician outfit, which is like a long black skivvy sitting there being like, "Shut up! Shut up! I should be at the Sydney Symphony!"
So yeah, we're back from Uluru, which thank you Isuzu for supplying the cars. It was what a trip it was.
It was
fantastic. Very fun. Lots of exciting things happened, and
Highly recommend everybody in Australia go to the desert, don't you think?
yeah, so cool.
A lot of people always think that, yeah, it's there, I'll go there one day, and then you die, which is what the heart-wrenching story Last Cab to Darwin is all about. Don't recommend you see it.
Oh, really?
Aussie cinema.
That's pretty much it.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he got cancer and he's a cab driver and he drives to Darwin or something.
Okay, anyway. That's
And
fine.
it's the guy from the castle.
Yeah.
The most happy-go-lucky guy ever he's gone into his Robin Williams phase of everything has to, at this point, just be, like, there's just at some point you just got to stop laughing.
Yeah. It's so
Life's not all
depressing. It's like on the way here we were driving past this hospital and there was just like the saddest stuff when you drive past.
What did you see?
Just this man with like one of those like things that you walk, like what are they called? The poles that have the drip attached to it, wandering around, and he was just like kind of sitting there, didn't give a shit.
With an oxygen mask in his mouth, looking out at the tree one last time.
Yeah. So
And then
sad.
after that, we came up with a bunch of hilarious stories that we've got for this pod, episode 29.
But yeah, firstly, so just apologies to everyone about the first episode, the Uluru edition part 1. That was the pod that Isuzu was hoping for. Unfortunately, it has not been released and will never be released.
So they paid for us to go to Uluru literally for nothing. They originally wanted us to make a video for them. We said, "No, we're not doing that. You're not even giving us a fuel card. We're not going to make you a movie for this. We'll maybe shout you out on the pod." And they said, "Yeah, all right, fine. You can take the cars. We're not using them anyway." Didn't even do that.
Like it was a pretty good pod, but yeah, just due to we were recording it in a tent, and it was just
Sounded rubbish.
Yeah,
So,
sound was awful. Robbie, I don't know.
On 2 accounts, it was terrible sound quality, and on top of that, we also sounded clearly intimidated and scared because we were 3 nerds sitting in the outback while the rest of our camera crew are all hefty jocks that are now dressed in hipster clothing all the time. But you can tell from their muscle weight and stuff, they used to be into footy, especially as soon as you take out a footy, they're just like, "Yep, person!" First thing that they think, right?
Yeah.
So they're all sitting out there kicking it, going, "Go further! Go further, Lockie!" While we're sitting there, we're going, "Thanks so soon." It was just sad.
Yeah, so part 2 is the only edition. There's not something you're missing out on, so listen to part 2. Don't worry about part 1 because it doesn't exist. So, on our way back...
Like in a very CIA sense, it doesn't exist. It does exist,
it exists,
but you're not going to see that.
That's the true sealed section.
hit the X-Files sound effect of that. But you're never going to hear that.
And we'll just wait. There we go. There it is. I'm pretty impressed by your response time, Robbie.
Yeah,
well
that's
done.
pretty quick.
Thanks.
There, but you have to be on that, Robbie.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm doing it. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Okay,
Well,
so...
don't put him down.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's all right.
Okay, next segment is... Get ready for the music again.
Which segment?
The same segment, the same music. Go. Highway of Death, Route 666. Thank you. That was really good. Yeah. Whoosh.
Got too dark.
Yeah, wow, we have to lighten that mood up with a whip.
This truly is a horrific story, and who's telling it?
All right, so this is completely true. All right, so this isn't just something we've made up for the pod. It is honestly true. Okay, we're driving back. All contributing to this story because
It definitely tainted the whole trip, by the way. Before we start, like, this is the first thing I think of when I think of our trip to Uluru. Does it pop into your head?
What's the only story to say? Like, I wanted to bring up the whole, getting
The first thing I
arrested
think
or
of
whatever.
always is just our good friend Mason, who did most of the driving the whole time, denying that he smoked cigarettes, and every time you ever see him smoking a cigarette.
yeah.
Right.
Mason was the highlight of that trip.
He was.
I loved Mason.
Great guy.
His DP on Facebook is a picture of him looking very confused as to whether or not the camera's taking a picture or not, with his cat also looking very confused, but for different reasons, because the cat obviously doesn't understand technology at all. But Mason understands technology about as much as his cat.
Mason's in his 30s, we're pretty sure, traveling with these like much younger guys. It's kind of like he had no reason to be on the trip, but it was just having the best time, most enthusiastic guy. So, love Mason.
He's changed his profile picture now to a sign that says "Do not enter." I think it was in the Outback. Like that was.
He's the kind of guy that's just he's so interested in anything you're saying. Like even if it's boring, but he's listening to you like, oh really? No, no way.
Before the invention of the internet, he would definitely be obsessed with bird watching. About 799 of the 800 species of bird in Australia, and that's why I went to Uluru to see that last desert parrot that he hasn't seen.
But yeah, instead of parrots, it was road trains. Did you notice how he was taking photos of every single road train?
Yeah, whenever a truck would drive past, he'd try and get the best shot he could as it zoomed past. He was always also all the shots were very well caught. Like it was great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So that was great.
Mason's driving.
Was fantastic. So was The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock was awesome as well. So we're driving home. Hamish, one of our other companions in our car. There's two cars that we had from Pazuzu. Once again, thank you. And in the car, it was me, Jordan, and Robbie in the back seat the whole trip, because the reason Robbie was allowed to come was the deal was we had to sit in the back pretty much the entire time, squished between each other for 70 hours.
And on top of that, Robbie is a terrifying, scary driver. So that was didn't want him in the front anyway.
Yeah, so we couldn't let
had Mason there the whole time.
It was that one incident. It was that one gravel
you
offshoot.
almost killed us.
It's only you only need one
You
time.
only need one time.
As if I didn't regain your
we don't have multiple
trust.
lives. We're not Laura Croft.
Laura Croft.
Lara Croft.
Oh, that's right. You kids know.
As if I didn't regain your trust after that, though. I was
Well, clearly not. Yeah.
Are you serious?
So anyway, Robbie wasn't allowed to drive, so we're all sitting in the back seat.
It's not. I was very vocal about how much I hated you driving the whole way.
So we're driving back to Sydney from Uluru. The other car are going to take their time on the way back, taking 3 days to drive back. But Hamish, one of the five of us, had just caught glandular fever and had a fever. So we were just like, all right, we have to get him back as quick as we can. Mason's driving. Hamish is in the front seat, passed out most of the trip back. And we
Flat stick. It was a 18-hour drive, I think.
Yeah.
Mason was driving the whole time.
Probably even longer. Close to a full day, like 24 hours almost. Like we left at roughly 8, 9 in the morning and didn't get home until 8:30 the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was a classic night of Kesha's where she goes out and parties and just keeps partying until she sees the sunlight.
Yeah.
Except... just
We'll
works.
never get over the sound effects. Yeah.
So happy it exists.
Yeah. So Mason's driving. It's the middle. So we've been in the car for a very long time. We're driving. We've made it into New South Wales. It's still the middle of nowhere. So these roads are incredibly long. There's, so we had to have a petrol tank, an extra canister of petrol with us because the distances are so long between petrol stations. You'd have to stop between petrol stations to fill up because you wouldn't be able to make it to the next petrol station without running out of petrol. So that's how far towns are between each other.
We thought they were being pedantic about that, but we needed to do that several times, including once when we rocked up into the Northern Territory on the way up. And for some reason, there was these gale-forced winds. The entire state had just blacked out. And so, in this strange way where the telecommunications were down, but all the electricity was up. So you could go in, look at the chips. they could cook them, but you weren't allowed to buy them.
Because FPOS was down.
Road for like 12 hours, and we'd walk in, there'd be this gust of winds, and this fat guy in a truck suit coming out saying that, it's closed, you can't get it, yelling through the sandstorm.
So we have no petrol left, and someone's saying, like, you can't pay for it unless you have cash, and luckily Robbie had $50, or we would have been in a lot of trouble.
That's so lucky, wasn't it? Yeah.
But anyway, so the story is, we're driving back, we're in New South Wales, we've just left this town called Colbar. So if anyone's from Colbar,
that's what it was. Okay.
We're about 20, 30 Ks out of Colbar along this road, heading towards Dubbo. But Dubbo was still like hours and hours away. That was just kind of our next destination. And we are driving down this road, middle of the night, so like 11:30, roughly around that time. We get passed by this like shitty looking car, kind of overtakes us, drives away down the road, and we're like, oh wow. And Mason makes a comment saying like, oh, it's like Wolf Creek or something. Imagine if Wolf, bloody John Jarrett's in that car.
Because it did. It looks like a real horror movie, beat up prom movie.
Yeah.
The guy's an axe murderer, and he's got this nice car for the 80s, but because he's such a violent man, he even takes out on inanimate objects like his car, and you think, ooh, we want to be that guy's dog.
Did you mention how it was driving past the service station and beeped?
Oh yeah, when we were filling up petrol earlier in the night, and we saw that car kind of go past, and it tooted at like another car or something. So we just like noticed the car earlier in the night, but I don't really know how it's connected exactly to like. Anyway, it did happen. But yeah, so we're driving down the street, like this highway, middle of the night, like hours until the next place that we can stop at. This car overtakes us, goes down the road. We just make the comment, keep driving down. About 5 Ks down the road, we notice it's pulled up on the side of the road. And like in the middle of nowhere, it's like, why would you be pulled over on the side of the road?
It's lights on high beam still while it's pulled over.
Yep.
And you see that misty fog go over the lights. And so we're, of course, making more jokes about, there's obvious, like, it's clearly a serial killer. Clearly. John Jarrett.
Yeah. And we're thinking like, all right, this guy's a bit of a hooligan maybe, so he might try and like pull out in front of us and drive off or something. So you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of like when you're driving past a cow, you don't want to go too quickly because the cow might come out and you might hit it or something. So Mason starts to slow down as we're going past this car. And we noticed that, thanks for the music, we noticed that the back door is open and so is the boot. And we look closer and there's this guy in a blue cap, the driver, and he's pulling something out of the back door of his car. And this is completely honest, like, if anyone who listens at home, they know how I just don't believe in any of, like ghosts or anything like that. I'm very like down the line on this kind of stuff. This guy pulls out a dead body from the back of his car.
A shirtless white male, black shoes, jeans. We see him dragging this limp body across the gravel.
Through the dirt.
All of us, all 5 of us, we are not crazy.
This actually happened, right? We're just like, we see a corpse being dragged through the dirt in the middle of the night. Mason goes to... He wants to stop.
And all the rest of us just scream.
We are hundreds of kilometres away from the next town. And Mason wants to stop.
We yell at him to drive as quickly as he possibly can, and he keeps going, that's what he wants. That's what he'd want. We want he wants us to go real quick, so we crash, and then he's going to chase us down.
That pissed me off so much when he was like trying to stay at the speed limit. I'm like, speed up, like get away from this guy. And he's like, no, he's like, no, what if they come behind us and they crash into us? Well, I'm like, use the brakes. Brake if he comes up.
And Mason's going, if he gets out of the car, I'm going to run him down. I will run him down. And we're like, good, Mason, good. Like, do that, please. And then Hamish is like, we have to call the cops. He's in this like days of like fever, and he's like, we need to call the cops. We have to call the cops. So he hands the phone back.
And he checked Facebook first. Can I just say, when he got his phone out, he opened Facebook. No, yes, he did. I promise you. As if I wouldn't notice that.
Oh my god!
I promise you. I'm like, give us the fucking phone. I shit you not.
Robbie's having like a panic attack in the back of the car.
I've never been so... I mean, I've probably been as scared, but like I was truly in the depths of panic. Like I had just downed, like I threw back a large coffee. This was at 1 a.m. by the way, just to like stay awake for the drive. But yeah, man, very, very scary.
So we call the cops. And firstly, so we're driving down this road in the middle of the night, so we're really scared that this guy's going to overtake us or like chase us down. Like he's kind of, why would he overtake us, pull this body out, knowing we're going to come by? So we're thinking he's playing a game with us, like he's dumping this body to freak us out, and then he's going to chase us down this road. Because like he'd only have to drive about 30 k's quicker than what we're going to catch us up. So we call the cops, and the call fails. And then we're like, fuck, there's no reception. Whenever the sound comes back, it gets really like... So anyway, we eventually get onto the police, and Mason's driving, and he's getting really hot, and he's got like a hoodie on.
It's the most annoying. There's so many... At this stage, it went from terrifying to extremely annoying. So annoying, it's spooky at this point, because everyone else had calmed down and was going, oh, okay, there's no reception, and thinking in a logical mind again, except for Robbie, who's sitting in the back, taking all of these extremely deep breaths, going...
Crouched forward, like curling his hair in his finger. Just he wouldn't stop twisting his hair.
I put my shoes on as well.
Yes, because he thought that they'd crash the car and he'd have to run into the wilderness.
Yeah.
And he was going to outrun this maniac.
We like, and it was like, why are you putting your shoes on, Robbie? Like knowing the reason is because he's preparing to run. Anyway,
and Mason, at this point, everybody else is somewhere in between Mason and Robbie in terms of their scaredness and alertness for the situation. But Mason is driving at probably 140 kilometers an hour at this point, and then he goes, guys, can you just take the wheel for a second? No, I just saw a maniac. Why? I'm too hot at the moment. Can you stop thinking about that for this?
Yeah, I'm really hot. I just want to take my jumper off. Yeah, he's like,
just be hot. Just be hot.
I'm going to pull over for a second. I'm just going to take my hoodie off. No, Mason. This guy could be chasing us down right now.
He wanted to either pull over or get the glandular fever guy to drive. That's what he wanted. And stay at the speed limit. Speed up, you maniac. Get away.
Anyway, we were just in a daze as well because we were just driving for so long. It didn't really hit till the next day that we've actually, we witnessed a bloody, like, dead body. They're getting dragged out of a car. We called the cops. They were like, all right, we're sending a police car out now. And we're like, yeah, we're pretty scared that this guy might be following us. So they're like, all right, we're sending another car out to the other end to make sure you guys are all right. We saw a cop car, I think, driving past us. But yeah, anyway, that's the last we heard of it. Pretty crazy.
We haven't heard any updates of that, have we?
I've looked on the net. I can't find anything. But yeah, immediately, yeah. I'm so glad we got through the cops. But
anyway,
that was a very scary thing.
Nonetheless, though, even though there's no media write-up about it or police reports, we saw a dead body.
I know. Such a highlight to the trip, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm so glad, and I'm really glad it happened.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, Robbie...
that somebody had to die for that to happen, but still, you don't see that every day.
And Robbie was saying how... He's like, I think I'm going to actually need to, like, see a psychiatrist, something like that about this.
To which Tom's response was, straight off the bat, oh, fuck off.
Those bloody sounds. Alright, so then we're back in Sydney, back living the large life that is the urban lifestyle. We get invited to this pedestrian TV party. So the next segment we have is the pedestrian party. Is Jordan a terrible person? So it's a much more lighthearted segment, I think. So
attached to a very heavy segment, so with nice undertones that I think everyone will be happy with, much like when Nutella put in vanilla swirls.
Yeah. So we have been talking to Pedestrian lately about several things, but not too much. But anyway, they contact me saying, hey, we want Jordan to... We have our 10th anniversary this weekend in the Cross, and we're having a big party. Like, you guys are invited, but we'd love it if Jordan could come and do, like, present for the night, do like a video for it, and we'll pay him a small amount of money, and and then it'd be nice.
Tried to come up with a bunch of excuses not to do it, but at the end of the day, Tom just kind of talked me into it during the period where we were having Chinese together, and he was doing his classic, old Jewish manager that's just manages the absolute D-grade filth of Hollywood, in a cheap Chinese restaurant going, it's money, just take it. Yeah. And so while that was happening, they text us saying, where are you? We thought that the party was tomorrow. Tom is in a Yilmaz hoodie.
So wearing
This is a
Geordie's
black tie
merch.
event.
Yeah, it's a black tie masquerade ball. So you need a mask on top of a black tie suit. Jordan's in a Lowe's jumper. I'm in the Geordie's merch, and we're at Chinese. We're an hour and a half
And
late.
I've got track pants on.
Yeah, and I say like, "Oh, so sorry, man. I thought it was tomorrow night. Is it all right if we like just come now?" And like, I know it's an hour and a half late. I'm really sorry. And he goes like, "Yeah, man, sure. Just like rock on by. It's completely fine. It's funny if anything." So then we're like, "All right." So we drive into the
It
cross.
really is the Entourage lifestyle, but minus the song of the really passionate guy that's obviously a very good singer singing that, "Oh, yeah!" with a teenager whose voice is breaking going, "Oh, yeah!"
I want to be a superhero.
That was that moment.
Yeah. So we show up, and Jordan's just thrust into this video. He is definitely not in the mood to be really doing anything.
Because 36 hours before that, we saw a guy drag a body out of his car. And I'm supposed to walk up to a bunch of C-grade celebrities and be like, "Hey, tell us about when you saw Iggy Azalea."
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about that shit. Just, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
We still didn't know, we don't know anything about him now, but that's still fresh and playing on our minds. And much like when you hear about North Korean refugees coming out of North Korea and then they go to a press conference and they say, "What was it like? Where's your dad?" and things. And he says, "Oh, he was publicly executed. I saw him at 7. And then everybody looks really shocked at that. And then it suddenly dawns on him that what he saw is not normal behaviour at all. Nobody sees their parents get publicly executed across the planet, and so they start shaking up with fear. That's what was happening to us when you told your girlfriend and when I told my girlfriend, and their responses were like, "What do you mean you saw a dead body?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like it was such, yeah. So we're at so Jordan's standing there thinking of this, trying to interview Matt O'Kine or whoever these different in VIPs at the pedestrian party are. I'm standing behind the camera trying to get him to smile more.
I don't know anything about my generation either. I don't know. That's so true. Just I don't know how to describe this properly on radio, but like, interviewing these celebrities looking completely disinterested, saying very underhanded, nasty remarks that even I'm personally shocked at. And then looking at Tom, and then he's got this kind of facial expression of like raised eyebrows and a really big smile and pointing to it, being like, "Eh?"
Be more happy. You'd understand.
In a Lowe's jumper, thinking about a murder, interviewing these celebrities, I don't know who they are, and everybody just being like, "That's the girl from MTV."
Yeah.
So what?
And they're all drunk as well. It's
watches
just
that?
Anyway. So the segment is
that
Jordan
was
a bad
smashed.
person? Because he, at the end of the party, he just gets in the car and he's like, "Man, I feel so bad about that. I was really, really cruel to Matt O'Kine. Like, he's been really nice to me all the time, and like I just feel awful." So tell us what happened, Jordan. What? Because I wasn't there for that because I got kicked out because it was at capacity for that.
Are you
period.
serious?
Yeah, well,
for goodness
not like
sake.
they found me and they're like, "Sorry, Tom, you're on the bottom of the list. You got to go." But I just tried to walk in and the guy was like, "Yeah, sorry, man. I'm not." And I was like, "Oh, I'm with the film crew though. Like, come on." He's like, "No." So anyway, I wasn't there for it. But yeah, so what happened, Jordan?
That's a revelation, because it only started to be me and the head of pedestrian, and he took me into this VIP section where Matt O'Kine was. Previously, before that, I also was interviewing the head, some VJ from Channel V, who I didn't know who he was again, and I was going, "Oh, so who do you work, what do you do at Pedestrian? Are you like an editor or something?" And then he says, "I'm the host of V. You've paid me out in one of your videos before," in the middle of the interview. and so it just
God.
it was
Oh my God.
a very nice man. Like, I really want to be friends with this guy a lot.
He's the guy,
So what-
Dan
what-
something. He's the blonde dude from Channel V.
Yeah.
He's a very well-known Australian
isn't he?
personality,
Yeah.
like in terms of visuals. You'd know.
Except for me.
Yeah, but
Don't know. Never seen him before in my life. Made fun of him probably because I was just flicking through Channel V interviews on YouTube and thought, "Yeah, I'm sure this guy's a jerk. I'll just copy what he sounds like."
Yeah.
He's not a jerk at all. He's, again, one of the nicest people in Australia. Very supportive, just like, "Great, love your work, mate. Thanks a lot." So I'm just feeling scummy about that. Then I walk in, see Matt O'Kine. He's sitting there in some mafioso suit with 3 chicks surrounding him in this private booth with like Moe and Shandong. You know, like really expensive alcohol on tap. You
Yeah.
know?
Anyone who doesn't know, Matt O'Kine is the host in the morning show on Triple J with Matt and Alex.
So I'm walking in there just being like, I don't want to be here, man. This is a buddy, man. I don't know what's going on. I can't stop saying stupid, weird things. I'm just wigging out, man. This is weird. It was such a vast contrast from being in the bush, seeing a dead body being dragged around, to just interviewing C-grade celebs in the period of what is essentially a day. So I walk in. The first thing he says... Not really fitted for this moment. Will be in a second. Definitely will be for a moment. But
wait a second, Robbie.
good cue test up. Yeah. Nice to know that the first run is also a techie run. As well, it seems. Robbie in his black shirt and skinny lanky arms, much like the spider in Spirited Away. He can reach it all.
All right, sorry, continue.
So he says to me, and just at this point was not in the mood for this at all, but Matt, with his incredibly successful life, turns around and is just like, hey! First thing he says. So we sit down. He's smashed at this point. The guy from Pedestrian, because it's obviously supposed to be very safe, nice, chattable media, right? And so it was a great story for that. Was not in the mood to hear about Matt O'Kine's interaction with The Bachelor, though. I just really... I hate that show to begin with.
Yeah.
The guy's not even hot. Why is everyone watching this?
That's true.
Well, it's
What's
just an
going
awful
on
show.
with that?
It's so annoying. It's so clearly
He looks like
prompted.
Bert from Sesame Street.
Everyone loves it.
He does.
Yeah.
A muscly Bert. Yeah, I've been looking after myself. Yeah.
All right. So what? So Matt O'Kine.
So he's talking about this Bachelor story, and I am not listening to it at all while he's saying it. I just heard him say that, yeah, so I was just with this girl from The Bachelor, blah, 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 and it just fades out in my mind, and all I'm thinking is, I saw a body. I do not want to hear the story about The Bachelor. What the fuck happened to that guy? I want some answers that this story is not going to give me. I'm not going to hear who the murderer is at the end of this story. I don't want to hear this right now. He finishes talking. I notice that he finishes talking. And so I'm just trying to very quickly scramble in my mind what he said. And so the end of his story, I kind of pieced together, and it must have sounded incredibly rude, but it was actually me just trying to cognify what happened, of me going, so your story is that you just saw on Google Images a picture of her in a bikini. And then he's just like, yeah. And I'm sure it was great, because he's one of the most professional comedians in Australia, definitely. Anybody in the biz would tell you Matt O'Kine is gold. He's always just great for television, great crowd warmer, is excellent with those, great with anecdotes. It probably was a great anecdote, but I didn't hear it. So the conversation already dies at that point. Then he adds like a really nice topper that should have been the end of the conversation, where he says that, yeah, so I just think that, like, Alex is just making fun of me on the radio for saying, like, I'm creepy or whatever for looking up pictures of her on the internet. But I think that secretly he has, like, a bunch of puppies in his basement or something like that, which would have been a fine joke. That's a really fine joke to end with. Everyone's happy with that. It's a good topper, right?
Yeah. All his women around him are all giggling away.
Classic moment like that. Then he starts searching, because he's kind of half drunk at this point as well. He's trying to search for the next thing to talk about. And so he says, what were we talking about? And at that moment, it flashed through my eyes. Wouldn't it be amazing if Matt said something that was a little bit too harsh? Because he's known as the nicest man in Australia. That's really like his gold standard thing, is that he's this incredibly nice, funny dude. Yeah. If he said something that was just was a normal hit below the belt that most people have. If he said that about his co-host, I would imagine that there would be this couple of days of tension between the two on air that no one would know why it's there. And Matt probably wouldn't know either, because he probably wouldn't remember because he was drunk. And there's so many variables in this story, because that also means that Alex would have had to see this video that probably only 2,000 people are going to see anyway, and he would have had to be one of those guys. He would have just been sitting there being like, okay, so that was Tame Impala, and so we're just going to go on to Macklemore now. And then Matt would just be like, but I've got a good story. No, we'll hear it later. Just moments like that, and no one knows.
Very long shot joke, but it could have pulled off to be amazing. Like, just the feeling, knowing that there is tension if he says something bad about Alex. So what'd you ask, Matt?
So he's searching through his mind for something else to talk about, and so he says, what was I talking about? And I said, you were characterizing Alex as being a creepy puppy kidnapper. you're trying to get away from this conversation, and I want you to continue talking about him. And then he's just like, no, we're not talking about that now. We're going to go on to something else. And then I'm just going, no, say it. Say something else mean. Like, I'm actually just saying this in the interview. And he's going, trying to think of something else to say. And then it suddenly hits me that, like, it's impossible for Matt O'Kine to be a mean person. It's just not in his bones to do it. So it just felt horrible at this point. Just being this little devil on his shoulder with no angel on the other side to help him.
Say it.
Yeah, his angel being drunk, being like, oh, what else happened to you this week, man? And then the devil just being like, just be mean. It's an easy alternative.
So you feel awful.
Felt awful about that. The interview ends, and if Matt O'Kine turns out to be the reincarnation of Jesus, I'd be very surprised if that happened, purely just because I'm in the same boat as you, Tom. If we can just have a nice little atheist chuckle at the moment, because there is no God. But seriously, if he was the second coming of Jesus, I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
Yeah.
he's not. He's just, as soon as the camera goes off, he says, "Hey, mate. Really like all the work you've been doing. I've given you guys a shout out on Triple J a couple of times, and it's just been like, keep it up." First thing he says, even though I was trying to be mean to him in the interview, and so I'm feeling awful at this point. I was feeling bad to begin with. That was even my first thought, is to try and make this guy say something he doesn't want to say, and so then I'm just sitting there with shoulders dejected, going, "Thanks, Matt." And then he says, and then the guy from Pedestrian says, "Do you guys know each other?" And then he says, "Yeah, when he first started out at university, I went and saw his play. I thought it was great. I gave him a quote for it. He used it on his poster. It was just like, it was a really good quote. I thought it was really good. I was like a fan from the beginning, man."
Yeah.
So I'm feeling like absolute shit at this point.
All right, so
and then
Jordan...
I walk out dejected in a daze, just being like, what the hell is going on with my life?
I've seen a body.
I've seen a body who's just mean to the nicest man in Australia, quantifiably.
So this...
And the nicest man to me personally. So if this ever gets to him, not enough of a man to apologise to him face to face, but if somebody knows him, just pass the message on.
Yeah, well, that was our opportunity to play the sad music and have Jordan apologise, but we just missed it.
No. Keep the sad music for now, because, Robbie, what do you think? Am I a bad person as a result of that?
No.
Okay. Now, Robbie.
Hit the music.
Not yet. No, stop. What season is it, Robbie?
Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
We're not kidding. We're genuinely curious. What is it?
Is it spring?
That's right.
I completely forgot about it.
Why didn't
Okay,
Yeah.
just
You've
for any
been
first-time
sprung.
listeners, we have this continual question segment on the pod, which is a surprise segment to Robbie that we don't tell him beforehand, where we spring terrible news on him and we warn him about it beforehand by asking him, what season is it, Robbie? And he has to, as part of his contract with Friendlyjordies, say, is it spring season?
Yeah, because you're getting sprung, Robbie.
I can't believe this anyway. Yeah, what is it?
All right, cue the sad music, because you're going to need it for this one.
God. I'm actually very...
What are you very?
I don't know if I want to hear this anyway. Okay.
No, you really don't. You do not want to hear this. Play the music.
All right. So earlier in the week, we, you know how we've been restructuring Friendlyjordies and talking about pay and that kind of thing. Robbie,
Look at his face.
look at me.
Let's not record this. Can we do this off?
I think that, like, because we're now part of Patreon, though, normally we would, but they have a right to know this as part of the Friendlyjordies family, that they haven't donated enough for us to continue the amount of payment that we're giving you at the moment. We're going to have to deject it. I'm sorry that we had to tell you it this way.
We're sorry.
Okay.
What are your response to that? How do you feel now?
I don't know. What are you supposed to say?
Do you think that we're bad people now? Tom's in on it too.
No, I'm not.
Okay, am I a bad person, Robbie?
I fought for you, Robbie.
Yeah, you know, I think I do enough work to, you know, necessitate what I get, you know. So yeah, I don't think it's that good.
Yeah, it's true. It's just we don't have the it's just a question of money, though. We just don't have it.
Okay, all right.
We've just been we've just launched our Patreon, and if anything, we have more money than we had before.
But we had to pay other people as well. We had to tell him.
All right.
And now that we've told Robbie
It's on
that
the
his
back as
pay
well
is...
of me getting $700 worth of fines this week.
That's right. He rang. Oh man, dude, this is
The worst week of my life.
Well, just think, we're doing the pod live now, so that cuts off a lot of time. You know, like, we fucked up the Uluru edition, and Zuzu, you know, they're beyond annoyed at this. So-
Well, sorry, Robbie, our hands are tied. We can't do anything about it.
All right, let's what's next? Let's do
I
this.
suppose we could do that, because the next thing that you've got to discuss is your date.
All right, so...
Oh, wait, no. We're going to do Très Bien with Robbie.
Are we?
Yep, so this is our... We're swapping Goosebumps away for this week, and we're going to be doing Très Bien, which means, so, you know, we've got, you know, there's come to and fro about whether or not Goosebumps is popular, if people like it anymore.
The to and fro being that the audience loves it, and we are the fro. 100% of us in here, we really want to stop playing Goosebumps, but... if you wanted to continue, please write in the comments box. But for now, we're going to show you that there are alternatives in life. We're much like Jamie Oliver teaching fat, ugly kids in English schools that there is alternatives to meat pies and chips for lunch.
So that's always been Robbie's thing in the last few years. He's really picked up a love of olive oil and bread and that kind of thing. So, Robbie, this segment is you're going to teach us every week what foods we should try, and we'll have a little sample. And if... yeah, well, there we go.
You should really see. He's on the verge of tears at the moment as well.
This is Très Bien with Robbie. I'm so excited about this episode. Anyway,
Was.
Party's just getting started.
All right, can I just say also,
All right,
this feels... all right. I don't know. I was thinking, you know, when we went to Cooper Pedy, right, and they gave us those rocks for good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave my rock to my little sister, and then I get $700 worth of fines and lose my job. Now,
Should have kept it. Should have kept the rock.
I know. Well, I'm now going to get it back because this is some bullshit.
All right, can we please tell him?
All right. Okay.
All right, so
here we
Robbie,
go. So,
explain this.
This is Très Bien with Robbie. We've got, I just thought, I don't know, I feel like I know food, you know? So I thought I'd bring in some foods that you can try. So this week I've brought with me...
It was very Mr. Bean, I have to say, that he brought in to the studio half a loaf of Woolworths bread that's not cut up.
Half eaten.
Half eaten. And it just comes out of a handbag, much like Mr. Bean, with olive oil. And he brings out a bowl. And it really is just one of those moments where you bring out the bread and then you just hear this. And then you brought out the olive oil. brings out the bowl. Mr. Bean's finest moment.
All right, so what kind of oil is it, Robbie?
So we've got some olive oil here. It's called Cobram Estate Extra Virgin. I think it's absolutely wonderful. We've got here this high-quality sourdough from Woolworths. And I usually go for the ones with olives in it, but this one doesn't have it. But do you know what? I think it's a nice little change. The grains are fine as well. If you get the ones with the seeds, that's all good. So
yeah, you're a big fan of the olive
I'm
ones.
gonna put it in here. I'm just gonna dip it in some olive oil here. It's pretty
feed
simple.
Jordan with your hand.
And you
Put your mouth out, Jordan.
Put your mouth out.
Robbie's going to feed you with his
Man,
hand.
okay, here we go.
Okay.
Much like a moray eel, just
Yeah,
popping out.
Very good.
Oh.
What do you think of that? And Monty,
Yeah, thank you. What do you reckon, Jordan? Drenched
Very
in oil.
Woolworthsy.
Can you let it drip a bit? That's drenched in oil.
You get what you pay for when it comes to oil. I really think
All right,
that now.
my turn.
Isn't
So I'm glad I learnt that.
do you feel cultured in any way after that? There we go. Monty's now got it in his little gob there. How's that? Would you say it's
More than a mouthful you just gave me.
I did. Now, would you say it's Très Bien?
No, I hate it. I hate that.
What I just said there, or like
No, the taste. I hate it.
Yeah,
Oh.
me too. I've got to say that was awful. If I was going to use any French word to describe it, I would say un peu peu. And that finishes
Oh, okay.
Robbie's
Well,
Très Bien. If you want that back, write that in the comments box. But if you want Goosebumps back, also write that down, and we'll do whatever you guys
So
want to do.
They're vying for your love. Très Bien or Goosebumps?
can I just say, like, we've got plenty of Goosebumps to go, and we've also got plenty of Trebian feuds.
That's great.
Feuds to come. So,
Great.
Feuds.
So really what it boils down
Because
to
they're really
is,
angry.
for this segment, what we're really asking is, if you boil down what reading Goosebumps is, which is making Robbie kind of sad and dejected, he hates doing it, or giving us these little food inventions that he claims
Which
that he
he loves.
invented, which he loves. So it's kind of just like every segment, really, we're just asking, do you want to see Robbie happy or sad? So don't even write Goosebumps or Trebian, just write sad or happy.
Yeah, if you're happy, if you want him happy, we do Trey Bien and eat bread every week. If you want him sad,
it's not pretty good.
Robbie will be reading Goosebumps, and to celebrate him reading Goosebumps, because that would make both Tom and I very happy that Robbie's sad, we will be playing Pharrell's Happy before he starts playing Goosebumps.
And Robbie, can you hit some happy music? Because we have
Get the
another.
triumphant amounts of music out, because Robbie, what season is it again?
Come on, what's the season,
with it.
Robbie?
Let me
We're
just do
still
the
hiring
music
you,
first. All right.
No, yeah, but
Oh.
wait. And then, after we announce this,
It's spring.
it's spring season.
That's right.
Now, Robbie, look at us in the eye. Look at us!
Yeah, hi.
You know how we were saying that we were going to halve your pay, right?
You didn't mention specifics, no.
We're
Oh,
gonna,
didn't we?
yeah.
Sorry about that. Well, we just got to drop that onto you as well. It's going by half.
So halve it, then halve it again.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the half at the moment?
Yeah, not good.
Okay. How would you feel if I said that we're going to double your halved pay?
And bring
That's
you
right,
back to
Robbie.
where you are and not do anything to your pay. You're still getting paid, Robbie. You're not fired. we love what you
So
do.
lovely.
You're just not getting a raise, which is what you asked for. But we're just here to show you that it could have been much, much worse.
So let's all be happy with what we have, the meager dollars that we do have. Thank you, everyone from Patreon. Keep
Yeah.
giving. Thank you so much for what you've done. You know, it's really made Robbie and my life a lot easier. Jordan's too. Everyone's happy. So
We
thank
are.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, but double it.
If you can.
We still need a lot more money.
Also, what we're going to be doing with people that are giving up to, I think it's $4.20, or maybe a tiny bit more than the next level up, is we're going to be doing an AMA once every month where you guys, well, all the patrons can send in any questions they have, and once a month we'll have it as a segment AMA, and we'll answer any questions that people have. And so that's something we're going to be doing on the pod.
Okay.
Cool.
Now, we have...
On a roller coaster.
Robbie's date. So, Robbie.
So excited about this. I have been, for a very long time, much like a Greek dad that has a lot of concrete in his backyard. So I've just got eyes only for my son. I don't need other pretty things. I know that he's going to do big things.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I have been trying to set up Robbie for ages with this girl from FBI, and I really didn't need to do anything about that. It was kind of, if I was Cupid, I would have been redundant at this point and been as sad as Robbie because I just would have had no job. It just happened by itself, apparently, that a former radio announcer from FBI called Hannah
Oh, yeah.
started...
Thank you, FBI, as well, for letting us record here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very needy, though, aren't you, FBI? You want that every episode. Us
We're
telling
happy to
that.
do it because you
know
give us
we're
the
grateful.
studio.
Yeah.
You give us the studio every episode, so
Very appreciative.
Yeah,
But if you ever took that office, no, we'd turn like vipers.
we wouldn't. We wouldn't. We really need to make that very clear. No, yeah, go on.
But the code undertext of that is... Now, yes, so very, very excited to see that a former co-host of an FBI breakfast show is dating Robbie. It seems like a match made in heaven. We could tell from a photo of her that was outside of the FBI studios that it looked like she had eyes for Robbie from that photograph.
What a
that was taken
crazy
before she knew
coincidence.
it.
Yeah, so we're
Incredible.
looking at a photo and we say, we reckon Robbie she would be keen on Robbie. So we just say, somebody at FBI has the hots for you, Robbie. So it could be anyone who works here. There's heaps of volunteers, like, you know, almost 100 people work at FBI probably.
Yeah, it's really like going through Mother Teresa's sick church. Just bodies everywhere, and you're just kicking them out of the way like common pigeons.
So we just say, like, someone's here and they want to go on a date with you, Robbie, like, pitch for it. Then on our post on Facebook for this, the very girl that we were looking at, thinking she'd be into you, she comments saying, "I would love to go on a date with Robbie." No one told her. We didn't even know her name, so we couldn't have told anyone about it. Crazy coincidence. Match made
Hand
in
of
heaven.
fate. Right.
So Robbie then says, "I would love to go on a date with you." We give him stipulations last week on the pod where we said you need to be wearing a suit, like you have to bring her flowers maybe, like whatever it is, all these kind of things, these golden tips for dating.
Because you know how to reel them in, you just don't know how to scale them, I guess, is the fisherman terminology of this. Because you're just an unkempt yeti.
An unkempt yeti. So
It knows how to play sound effects.
So tell us from the beginning to the end, Robbie, what happened with your date? What did you wear? What happened?
Okay,
Where'd you go?
so the initial correspondence was I sent her some flowers over Facebook. The emoticon, the flowers. So I covered my bases there.
Bad start.
You're a very cheap man.
I wore a suit. I drenched myself in cologne.
Not a tux, though.
Not a tux, but I had a suit.
What cologne
And the
did you
cologne, I
wear?
bet, was Lynx.
It was Chanel's Allure.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Is that a woman's brand?
I don't know.
So you bathed yourself in the cologne.
I truly did.
So you were stinking of it.
I was drenched. I mean,
Good.
I truly was. I made sure of that.
Was it your grey suit?
It was my grey suit, which I've only worn to funerals.
And your year 12 formal, I think.
I'm not sure. Perhaps. Yeah.
But it really should only be reserved for funerals and if you're an accountant.
Yeah.
Grey.
Okay, so
Right.
where did you go? Where was it?
So we went to Frankie's Pizza, which
Cool.
seemed like I've never been there, but seemed like a happening place from the internet.
Is it the kind of place that has an Italian cartoon chef with the OK symbol out the front, or are we talking classier than this?
We're talking hipster pizza places.
Not the kind of place you'd wear a suit to.
Not the kind of place you'd wear a suit to. No.
So what's her name? Do you want to say? Because she's a public figure.
Her name's Hannah.
Yeah.
We don't need to.
Oh, we already said that.
yeah,
but-
we.
Okay, so Hannah saw you at Fresh. Was she there first, or
So
did
I
you
called
first?
her, and I was running a couple of minutes late. So I called her. I just said, "Where are you?" Walked down, sat down. We chatted about Judi Dench to start with.
What was her reaction when she saw your suit?
She laughed and said, "Oh, you're wearing a suit, I think."
It's so weird.
Great.
Is
This
that-
might be a little. This might be really intimate. Maybe Hannah doesn't want her name mentioned on this. We might be able to bleep this out. And actually, we'll give her the code name Spanner,
Yeah, so Spanner.
which could turn out to be a cute nickname for you guys when you start dating. I reckon that'd be great to
Yeah.
call this person whose name rhymes with Spanner.
So was she?
No
were you
more hints.
getting looks from other people? Like, why is this guy wearing a suit?
Not really. I'm not sure. I was just. No, I don't think so. Who knows? I don't know.
All right, well,
maybe.
walk us
But,
through that.
Anyway,
hipsters don't care about.
it was very loud,
Yeah.
very happening place. We're on these stools. It hurt my back a bit, but I mean, we were there for quite a while. It was quite cordial chat. It was a nice time, I would say.
Very long time.
Would
I
you
bet.
say
4 hours?
during the date that 30% of your attention was on? I wish that this back had a shade. My back hurts.
Pretty much. Definitely. And she mentioned at one point, actually, you look like a serial killer. When I had my back, I put my back straight to try and just alleviate the pain.
So you're saying a very astute in a suit, like some American Psycho.
Yeah, so that wasn't a...
It's true though. Actually, we should do this on Instagram. Put up a picture of Robbie now and Ivan Milat when he was Robbie's age.
Yeah, it
is
would actually very, very close. I reckon.
so spookily similar.
So yeah, she got
me dragging the body out of the car.
It was me, baby.
So we
The least person to suspect.
Yeah,
the guy
yeah,
that's
yeah.
freaking out
It's
in the car.
the usual suspects, the Kevin Spacey, kind of like the guy that's all like shaking and nervous is the mastermind behind it. Sorry.
Sorry, but keep going with your date.
Right, yeah. So anyway, I didn't. She had a pizza. I didn't because I had Nutella toast before I went. We talked about.
Did you do that to save more money?
Yeah.
What's
What is wrong with you? Why do you want to come? Why do you want to give off that image straight off the first day?
Did she know
You
you'd
want
had a
to
piece
always-
of toast?
I just said, I don't know why. I said, yeah. Have you had dinner? She goes, no. I was hoping she said yeah, because I made it late enough that I thought we would sort of alleviate the problem of
You're meeting at a pizza place.
but it's like a bar as well.
What are you thinking? Why would you tell her that you've had a piece of toast before arriving at a pizza place for a date? You're obviously going to...
You idiot.
You're doing the sound effects as well. It makes it so much weirder. Wow, wow.
Look, anyway, I don't know. To be honest, I think I did pretty poorly. I think I kept the vibe okay. You know, it was cordial and nice, but I brought up, you know, like politics and past relationships inadvertently. I didn't mean to, but it just happened. And also at near the end, I did 20 questions.
What? You played the car game 20 questions.
I did.
Who were you? Or who was Spanner?
And I don't think she really knew how to play.
Maybe she was just so shocked that you were trying to play a car road trip game with her on a date. You don't play games on dates. How did you have so little to talk about? That's a game you play after you've been in a car.
I don't know.
For like hours.
I just brought it. I was just like, I'm just going to do this now. I don't know. Anyway, I was Barack Obama.
So were you...
You're Barack Obama.
Correct.
And Spanner didn't guess it?
She just wanted to stop.
No,
playing.
her first question was, "What did you do this morning?" I'm like, "I don't know. Do the game right. What are you talking about?" She's like, "I don't know this game." Anyway, it was a shambles. It was a
So
fucking
I
shambles.
set you a task beforehand as well that you should just at moments throughout the date get your phone out and just press the record button and just
Okay.
try and record some of it without telling her that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So did you do that?
Spanner.
So I've got one here if you want to hear it.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm here. Hannah, what's your name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what would you say are your strengths?
What are my strengths?
Yes.
Me personally, like, what am I good at?
Yeah.
Good handwriting. Like, people can read my handwriting pretty easily.
Alright, so that's enough. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, that's enough. Oh my God, Robbie, I feel really, really uncomfortable. Did she know you were recording that? Surely she must have known.
Yeah, just put the phone in her face.
If that was just like the general tone of the whole night. Holy shit. I'm so sorry, Hannah.
And anyway, it gets better. The texting.
All right, so just before we started recording, Robbie received a text from Spanner. What did it say?
So I sent a text like the next day being like, actually, first of all, I started off the correspondence with her initially talking about my first fine, the red light fine I got. I was like, I got this big fine. And then I texted her initially the next day being like, I got another fine. She goes, I don't care.
Did she say that?
No, I was like, as if you care sort of thing. Anyway,
I wish she said I don't care.
No, anyway, I said it was not, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. She goes, yeah, it went pretty well. I then, for some reason, thought it'd be funny to send a photo of my cologne, being like, if you want to get this. I realized immediately after I sent it, it makes like 0 sense and less than 0 sense because only I mentioned it. Anyway, she comes back with, cheers. Hours later.
And that's the last thing you've got.
And that's the last thing. And then I responded with, ha ha ha, you got Snapchat? She leaves it for ages and goes, I used to but forgot my password. That's what I just got. I think I've just completely screwed it.
Yes, you've screwed it. Everything.
I wasn't expecting that.
How bad that was.
I was expecting very positive feedback from this day.
Yeah, you seem to think it was quite good afterwards when I spoke
As
to
I
you.
say, like, I mean, we laughed a lot. I thought it was a fun time, to be honest. But I think there were a lot of gaffes, I think you'd say. I
Lots of
screwed
big
up
moments of
a lot.
silence, or...
No, I wouldn't say so, actually. I think...
Robbie, would
That's good.
it be too forward for you to ask her on a second date right now here on the Friendlyjordies podcast?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Great.
Okay.
Cue yourself some music because we don't have the luxury of post-editing anymore, which you're getting paid the exact same amount for, even though the job is far easier now.
Maybe either do the sci-fi one or the Paris one.
All right, let's do the Paris one.
and give yourself however long you want.
Go on.
You've earned it.
Okay. Hey, Hannah, I had a really great time on that date. I hope you did too. Would you like to go on a second date? Comment below or send me a text. You have my details.
Yeah. Make sure it's public, Hannah. We all want to see this.
Okay.
Spam it.
Be very interested to think get kind of a gauge of how you felt the date went as well, just so we can improve in the future. If you don't want to do a second date, I guess that's fine, whatever you want.
Yeah,
but
true.
just for improvement's sake.
Yes. Thanks for being a lab rat with Friendlyjordies dating enterprises as we try and form Robbie into some semblance of a mateable human being.
All right.
But yeah, anyway, thanks.
All right, now we're moving on to the final segment for today, which is Diet Swap.
Yeah.
So, we spoke about this briefly last week. Jordan has a very extreme diet. Me and Robbie both agree. Jordan, do you want to quickly just clarify what that diet is?
Be very happy to, as I'm feeling extremely well balanced as a result of this. It's really strange what happens to you, and I'd like to hear your boys' feedback after the week when you do the swap.
Yeah.
But I really feel like you're too focused and alert. You're not used to this kind of you just feel extremely clean all the time. That's the only way to really. You've gone into a bath, an old Roman bath, and then they've just scraped all the excess skin off you. Some slave has done that. But the fruit, nut, and vegetable, which is all the things that I've been eating for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, only those things. Yep.
They're all individually little slaves in my body.
Cleaning you.
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of like the extra ad, where there's all those donuts and stuff going, oh, no, you ain't extra, and they're running away from it. And then, as soon as they're off stage, I've caught them in a little cage, or some slave dealer has, and then I'll just be like, I'll take the donut, I'll take the bok choy, and they're all in there scrubbing away now.
Yeah.
So,
well,
just how the mighty have fallen, those poor little food items.
So yeah, Jordan has definitely... He was skinny going into this diet, and I have to say he has got more skinny since then. I saw him yesterday. He looked like a Japanese prisoner of war. I swear. He walked in and he had tracksuit pants on and a shirt tucked into the tracksuit pants. Not sure if that's because the tracksuit pants don't fit him anymore.
I actually did notice that as well when he walked in today. Yeah.
Because I'm so clean of mind at the moment, don't you think that I also had the mind frame of a Japanese prisoner of war, because I was just so grateful that I was able to move my legs.
Yeah. It just... it's like dangerously skinny. Like, I'm worried for you, Jordan. But...
You've got plenty of weight to lose, though, Tom, so this might be the diet for you. As we all know, Tom is the regional fat ass of the Friendlyjordies podcast. Robbie is your regional lanky kind of just the oblong in Mr. Men, really.
Quite a good... he's quite well structured in terms of weight, but he's got quite an oily physique, maybe.
Yes, he really should be listening to a lot of heavy metal and swearing at his mum every second word.
So Robbie and me are going to be trading with Jordan's diet. So we're going to be eating only fruit, nuts, and vegetables.
Unroasted,
no salted.
You've heard of the paleo diet. Now try the POW diet.
Yeah, more extreme than
Jordan's
paleo.
patented.
Yeah, and we're going to be also. I think we're doing a day of fasting within that too.
That's true.
So one day of the week we don't eat anything.
We sort of discussed this last time, anyway.
Anyway,
and also on top of that, you'll also be taking up my infomercial routine, where I watched at my cousin's house, extremely bored. Can't remember the guy's name because I just started used to do P90X, but there's this new exercise routine that was like, you thought P90X was extreme? I'll give you the same workout in 25 minutes. T25, fool. It's so much better having a charismatic, gay, friendly black guy telling you, just be like, come on, did that 5 more minutes, man. And you're always thinking, yes, just for you, I'm going to give you that 5
every
minutes.
morning. Yeah.
You guys are going to be doing T25. So let me hear you say it into the microphones at the same time, guys. The slogan of T25, which I haven't said to you before, but we can all say it together now, and it is, it's about time. 1, 2, 3. It's about time! Awesome! We're all in on this. That was your little verbal contract of taking the whole package.
Okay.
So Jordan's swapping with us, though, as well, in that he's taking on our diet. So that means every day he's going to be having at least one coffee. He's also going to be eating pizza several times a week. and having Thai
peanut-
food, schnitzels very frequently
Peanut butter and Nutella toast
for breakfast. Yes.
What the hell? For breakfast? Not even for a snack.
Yep.
Or if you want, I mean, you can eat it as a snack as well. I suppose.
But it has to be for breakfast. You have to have bread with peanut butter and Nutella for breakfast.
No, it's that for the snack is a spoonful of Nutella.
Yep, you have to have that once a day. Because that's what Robbie does every day is he'll have a large tablespoon's worth of peanut butter and Nutella on one spoon.
Sorry to sound like a PE teacher that is also your father and makes you catch the train with you, but you go to separate schools because you'll go to a fancy private school, but he can't afford to take his kid to there, so he goes to the public school. That's going into your body first thing in the morning, mate.
What's worse, that
sure?
or Fruit Loops, do you think?
That probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
probably.
So Jordan is getting weaned onto coffee, which is essentially a drug, like he was saying.
But there are positives to it. I mean, there are studies to suggest that there are positive aspects to coffee consumption.
Name them, Robbie.
Focus,
Temporary focus before a big decline.
determination.
Determination.
It's about time,
ambition.
Jordan.
Yeah, no, you're right. I should really look these up.
So we have
Sounds
brought.
very legit.
So Robbie has brought from his parents' house a pair of scales that we're going to be weighing ourselves on in similar style to The Biggest Loser. We're doing a weigh-in. And then next week we're
And
going to check
kind of
what
like
we are again.
Super Size Me, except for not McDonald's, and it's a week instead of a month. We're going to see what the results are at the end of this. How we feel, what our focus was like, what we accomplished in that week, and how much we weigh.
Yep.
So now, as the usual finale to this pod, where normally someone will be doing something outrageous like drinking spit, the Channel 10 version of outrage, which is just weighing fat people for an hour.
Yep. Okay, here we go. So Robbie, do you want to weigh yourself first?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So
Robbie is approaching the scales.
how much do you reckon Robbie's going
If
to
you
weigh?
can put while you're going up to the scales, Robbie, if you could just put in post-op. I know that we said this was going to be fully live, but I really think that this would really do well with a "Baby, you're a fan."
Yeah. Some
music.
Channel 10 kind of music.
And the
I reckon it'd be like a
scale is
70.
thinking he is 78.35 kilos.
All right, so someone out there write that down. We're going to need to remember that. 78.35, so they can tell us something.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Jordan. I reckon he's
You're
going to
way
be
fatter than what I thought, though, Robbie. Like, you're not fat, but
Heavier.
just heavier,
denser.
I'm a dense man. Yeah.
A dense, oily man.
Yeah. He's just got a fake steel leg that he's never told.
A sword for a leg.
And we're doing Jordan's now, and he's got
Scale is thinking.
Scales thinking.
Maybe step off it and back on.
No,
Yeah, it's not doing anything at
no,
all.
this is just gonna. So it's gonna take too long.
Yeah, I think your scales are broken, Robbie.
How did it work for yours and not?
I think, and when it was in the bag, like it was just on the whole trip in here. So
Has it just run out of battery?
Perhaps I'm not sure.
All right, let me try quickly.
All right.
Maybe Jordan's just way too
So
light,
it's-
it can't register it.
Oh, actually, you're right. That could be it. All right, now Monty's doing it.
No, it's broken.
And there is
Is
no
it?
response.
Are you sure? Maybe you just need to wait a second for it to reset.
Please stay with us, folks.
I know, this-
terribly sorry about this.
It's back on.
Okay, all right.
All right,
here we go.
Jordan.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep it in.
Here we go.
Oh, should I keep this in?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Jordan weighs
to know the truth.
Okay.
70.6
70.
kilos.
only
Okay.
eight left.
Bang on the male average.
Okay.
You're probably.
Is that right?
It was from my friend who used to always say when we used to make fun of him for being short when he was 173 centimeters. So he'd always be going, "Yeah, but by world average, I'm tall."
Yeah, BMI index.
I reckon your BMI is probably a bit low, Jordan. But anyway, we can.
Well, we'll find that out.
What do you
later.
think, audience?
Yeah. What's your opinion on body mass index readings? Don't look it up. Just tell us what you think about that.
Okay, so Monty's getting on it now. Are you ready there?
Yep.
Okay.
No, wait. Yeah, so because Tom is... What we're going to do at the end of this to finish the pod, the last words you will hear in the 29th episode, the biggest episode ever of the Friendlyjordies podcast, because we saw a dead body, basically. Tom is going to repeat into the microphone as loud as he can the cry of one of the Channel 10 Biggest Losers, which is supposed to be extremely inspirational, but it is really pathetic. So we need music that is trying to be inspirational for this moment. Robbie, if you please.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
We can do this one?
Oh, God.
Okay, well that's not inspirational, but yeah, just keep
Not
it up. Yeah,
inspirational.
keep it up. That's fine. That's fine. Just, I'm sure everyone's really sick of this. It just wants to get this over with.
He keeps saying
And it
error.
says error. He's too fat. He's too fat for the scale. Holy shit! There's only one way for him to go, and that's down. Whether it's death or by this diet, this is actual medical emergency. Tom is too fat for scales.
Quickly Alright, here we go.
82.6. He's not that,
Okay.
but still huge, massive.
Alright,
All right.
do you want to hear the phrase?
Here we go. This is to end the podcast. This will be the last words that you hear of this podcast. Tom, take us out.
Break me down into pieces so I can put myself back together again.
God's sake.
Such a good thought. Someone being 300 kilos thinking that's like, it's just so lazy that's the best thing that he can come up
There's
with.
this Islander dude standing on the way in, and he's just like incredibly fat, and he's telling that who's the military dude that like drills them? He's called
Commando.
the commando, and he's just like, and the guy's like, "All right, mate," and he's like, I want you to break me down, break me down to pieces, so I can start to piece myself back together again. And he's like, "I'll do that for you."
Oh my God.
Nothing but candid reality TV. Was not pre-thought of at all.
Yeah, so obviously, yeah.
Thanks, Channel 10.
All right, so that's
That's a
the end
pretty
of the podcast.
lukewarm finale. There wasn't.
It's because your bloody scales are hopeless, Robbie.
Okay.
There's a lot of problems with that last segment. The scales was a huge part of it, but it was only 40%.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see. We'll come back to you next week with how the diets have gone.
Yes. We look forward to that.
Look for, yeah. Are we less fat? Find out next week. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks, bye. Thanks, FDR.